Okay, so we're going to get to the what we call the or what a lot of people calls the stock. We'll get to those here in a little while. Those are the fun ones. So we're going to get right now straight into what everybody calls the stock Parma 502 AU arm. This is their basic replacement arm that they sold. The ones Mid-America have re-released as the AUs. You know, they're very basic, easily identifiable. Until people start tampering with them, they are easily identifiable. You know, this is one of the newer packs. Top's cut off of it. I'm not concerned about that because these are not that rare. I've just had one laying here that I picked up. So Super 16D arm 502 AU. That's I think it says USRA spec, 490 stack, and green com, blue writing, or blue stripes. Should have it. It actually should have yellow paint on it, but there might be some yellow paint there. They might. Yeah, I think there is right there. I can actually see. It's funny how you can see these better on the camera than you can see them like with your eye. But yeah, you can barely see some like yellow paint there. I guess it's got old. About looks more gold than yellow, but it should be yellow. These were spotted in yellow. So these, you know, you can see in there, com has not been trued. It's actually so old, it's kind of got weathered look. There's kind of like changed colors looking. This thing's been in the pack so long. Your basic, you know, Chinese arm, 490 stack. Nothing really to talk about here. Pretty easily identifiable. We're going to talk about the drillings and when we start comparing these to performance arms, and I'll go over the drill bits and what to look for and all of that to identify them that way. I will tell you this: the drill marks should be straight on these, and I'm going to get into that here in a little while, maybe on a different part when we get into the Trinities as well. So if this is what you're running at your track, if your track says we're going to run 502 AUs, because that's where a lot of that, you know, if being they've re-released them, there's going to be tracks running these arms. So when your track says, you know, and this is all, you know, your rules at your track determine everything you can do to these things. So if the rules specify you have to run a 502 AU arm, this is the arm. So I will say this: these arms should not have more than 15 degrees timing. Even though it says high timed on some of these packs, I think it said high timed on the older packaging as well with a different part number. They should not have more than 15 degrees timing. If it does have more than 15 degrees timing, it has been altered, and it is not a stock Parma 502 AU. The commutator up here, the little gold part, should not be trued. That is the easiest thing you can do to catch, you know, somebody that's tampered with these arms and stuff, because a lot of people have comm truers and everything. But if you have to run a 502 AU completely stock, that comm should not be trued, and this is where I'm going with that. So if that comm has been trued, it is no longer a 502 AU armature. It is a Parma 502 TU armature. And I can't remember the older part number, but basically the TU is a true comm arm. Now, when they made the TU and they made the AU, this was all after they had completely switched to green comms. So unless somebody has changed the comm on one of these, which your rules determine all of that at your track. I strongly suggest follow your rules at your track. These videos are just based to help you identify stuff. A 502 AU will not have a black comm. Absolutely will not have a black comm. There has never been a 502 AU packaged arm that has a black comm. Parma had already made the transition to green comms by the time they released this. And the TU, a 502 TU will not have a black comm either. The only difference in the 502 AU and the 502 TU is the trued comm. And the 502 TU, on some of the packaging, had 15 to 20 degrees timing up here at the top, where the timing had been turned up on the arm. That's the difference. That being said, if you're supposed to run a 502 AU arm, this is the arm. No true comm, no timing over 15 degrees. If it's over 15 degrees and it has a true comm, it is not. It is 100% not a 502 AU. It is a modified 502 AU, and it's actually been changed to a 502 TU at that point. So, you know, this is where it gets into, you know, I highly suggest, you know, track owners across the country to get very technical on the rules. You know, when you have rules that it's like any kind of racing. You know, if there's not a rule against it, or if there's not a rule written down, or something like that, people are gonna do it. I mean, you're gonna have people out there that are capable of doing things that sometimes you probably think they're not capable of, especially on these things. So that is the 502 AU. We will get into, you know, Parma's, and I've still got a good stack here, so we got several more videos if I don't finish with this. So Parma had a subdivision called PSE, Pro Series Equipment. You know, they did a lot of their American-made arms, which I don't think anybody should have problems identifying American-made arms. But for some reason, they decided to, I guess they saw Performance Racing, you know, selling quite a few of their arms and stuff. So they decided to release their own arm that Parma sent the arms to Performance Racing. Performance Racing rebalanced them and timed them, and that's virtually it. I mean, Performance Racing was not rewinding arms. That being said, you know, this arm says Super 16D arm, USRA spec, 490 stack, high timed, pre-conditioned by Performance Racing. And that is the packaging that these arms come in, the 72,004 U arm. These arms come out probably in the late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. And this is actually a unique one. This is probably, because there's still performance arms, there's still these floating around there. The reason this one is still in the pack is this one's pretty unique to my collection, and I will show you why. Without a doubt, this is a performance arm. I'm holding it up where you can't see it yet. This is 100% an arm that's, well, I say performance arm. It's a performance arms are Parma arms that's rebalanced, trued, and timed by Performance Racing. That's the difference in a performance arm and a stock Parma arm. That's the difference in them. So where this one's neat is talking back about the old 502Ts. The old 502Ts, you know, I told you had that little comm, that little black comm on them and stuff. This arm right here that's in this pack, was one of the older Parma 502s, so that leads me to believe it was a 502T or a 462T. with the black com, and it leads me to believe that this very well may be one of the first ones they sent over there to Performance to have them done for them, because when you look at it, it's got the black com, and there's not a lot of drillings in it. Some of these Performance racing arms are just filled with them. But this right here, you can easily tell the Performance drill marks. And I'm going to get another Performance out here too and show you, and I'm going to get some out of the packs and show you some, and I'm going to tell you how to identify them. But you can see black com, that's one of the old Parma 502Ts or 462Ts, and that all that means is, this would be one of the ones that's actually old, one of the old Parma arms that was initially sent with, to Performance Racing to redo. If you look at this, white paint, telltale sign of Performance Racing. That is definitely not the way to be looking for Performance arms, though. I mean, people that's going to try to cheat and slip these things in, all they're going to do is they're going to go to Hobby Lobby, buy them a yellow paint marker, and put them some yellow paint over that. That's not a way to look at it. I will show you here in a little bit how to check that out, and we're getting really close to that. But that one, PSE arm, it's basically a Parma. They're a subdivision, like I said, of Parma. That done some of their American-made stuff, even though it says Hong Kong on it. That's some of their American stuff. So, Performance arms. So, if you look at these Performance racing arms, it says preconditioned. Preconditioned Parma Super 16D armature. And then it has a custom timing on it, or you can get it timed wherever you want on it. And that blue at the top, that's just blue paint or something. Not sure what that is that's marked all over that. But they have that PRI number 0368CT. That's just custom timed and stuff like that. They had different part numbers. They actually, some of the older ones come in different tubes than this one. But green com, highly visible white paint, something to look for on these Parma arms. And I'm gonna pull some out here and show you guys. But some of these Performance arms, there is a ton of white paint on there. 90% of them is gonna have it all over the stack and everything. You're not gonna have to look hard for this. If you see a arm, obviously these are green comms, so these are the later Parma arms. If you see something like this come through your track and it has yellow paint, or say it has yellow paint all over the stack, well, if I can get this, might be easier to get a new one on. See how the white paint's just all up on the stack and everything? If it has yellow paint all over the stack and everything, I'd be highly suspicious about that arm. Mainly because, most Parma arms just have a dab of yellow paint on the lines. The reason that, a lot of these Performance arms have more white paint on them is they're trying to cover up the yellow paint that was originally put on, them by Parma. And that's a telling sign that Performance Racing was not rewinding arms for Parma. I've heard that argument too, that Performance Racing was rewinding arms, and that's why people thinks they run better. They was not rewinding arms. If they were rewinding arms, why can you see yellow paint, or can you see the white paint covering the yellow paint half the time on these arms? So they got a lot of gobs of white paint on there, and they're usually yellow. The drillings, let's talk about how to identify one of these truthfully from a stock arm. You know, and the drillings. This is a big thing. Stock Parma